Okay, let's go. Hello guys, Edwin Brand here from The Real You. Every single person has an amazing story, and this time we've got Tino, and we're able to share to you guys his thoughts, his story, a history, struggles, and how he has overcome and sees new future for himself. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Please make sure you subscribe to keep getting more of this content. Man, Tino, how are you, man? Good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
It's so great to see you again. We had a chance to meet each other on the Lux camp, and it was a great moment. So I wanted to invite you over for you to tell us a little bit more of your story, because last time it was a very short, rushed story on a selfie type of mode, but I thought we're gonna do it here on set. But I hear how you're doing and everything. You changed your look.
Going back to more how it used to be before I decided to shave my hair, in Christmas last year. So,
but you look very good. You look very good.
Thank you.
So, Tino, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. So my father, got 5 kids. I've got a beautiful wife. Prior to doing what I'm doing now, I was in the building industry, running a construction company with my father for a long time. I started working with Dad when I was 10 years old. Might have even been a bit younger, to be honest. We used to have a window manufacturing plant and a pretty big warehouse, and Dad would get me on school holidays from a young age with the broom, go through the warehouse, sweep up all the dust and the sawdust, and by the time I'd finished going from one end to the other, I'd have to go back and start again. And it was all for love,
He kept you busy.
He kept me busy, but I appreciate, at the time I hated doing it because, as a young kid, I want to enjoy my school holidays, right? You go back to school and people, telling me all the stuff they did on school holidays, and they go, "Oh, what did you do?" I said, "I worked." And they're like,
"Yes,
what for?" sort of thing. And so when I was younger, I hated it, but as I got older, I appreciated and understood why Dad was, getting me to do those things, right? Appreciating what it takes to earn a dollar,
Yes.
To work hard, right? And to be around people that are older than me and be respectful and all that sort of stuff. And, even to the point sometimes he'd make me get all the bent nails that were around, straighten them up with a hammer, and then
whatever kept you busy.
Whatever kept me busy. But then after I'd finished that, he said, "Okay, throw them in the bin now." And I'm going, "Why?"
I'll throw you in the bin.
Yeah. So I think I remember the first time. I can't remember how old I was, but I remember the first time I ever got paid. It was $5 cash, just slave labor.
How long ago was that?
Oh, that would have been. I was probably 11, 12 years old, something like that. I can't remember exactly when, but like I said, I hated it, and I used to resent my father at the time for it. But it helped me achieve things in the industry as I got older. So I started appreciating it more later on.
It didn't bother you doing repeating things and
I hated repeating
annoying things. Yeah, we all hate them.
I hate it. One thing I hate is repetition.
I know. We do the same thing, but when we do it for so long, but when we have to redo something, it's just boring.
Yeah.
It changes your mindset completely.
100%. But then as I got on, he got me more involved with the actual manufacturing process of the windows, and had an aluminium and a timber window manufacturing warehouse, and so sometimes I would help make the windows as well, certain parts, and so I got to learn a bit as I got on, and then eventually as I got older, started working on the construction sites.
But he has your father has a construction business.
Yeah, so
he builds homes completely.
Yeah, right now we build homes. It's a large business. It's not as large as it used to be. COVID sort of ruined it for a lot of people in the industry. But yeah, I mean, we always had a construction business. Started with my dad and my grandfather many years ago. I suppose I was destined to take it on. But
what's your background, or where are you? Were you born here?
Yeah, I was born here. My father was born here. My grandparents were born in Italy. All four of my grandparents were born in Italy, and came here. My dad's parents came here in the early 60s. I think it was 62. My grandfather came here with nothing but the clothes on his back, and built an empire. You know, did the jobs that no one wanted to do, and did really well for himself. And
Well, Italians are hard workers.
yeah, I mean, well, you know, I think he hadn't even been here for 10 years, and by that stage he was able to build himself a mansion by those standards back then, you know, and
Wow.
to the point that they were still living in it till the day they passed away. So, and still in the family at the moment. So, you know, he worked hard.
That's
you
so
know.
good.
Even my grandfather from my mum's side, my mum's father, you know, he worked in the construction industry doing all the decorative cornices.
I know Italians by that, yeah. Anything that's a bit complicated, Italians like to do.
Yeah. Well, they didn't have much, right, where
Yeah.
they came from, and they weren't afraid to do the hard work, the stuff that people didn't want to do.
Yeah, but you guys have this eye for design, you know, very different
Yeah,
things.
I mean, look
People
at all the
love that.
Italian architecture, right? And
Yes, it is
ancient
nice.
Roman.
Very nice.
Yeah.
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 So, Tino, what's a defining moment in life that changed your perspective?
Oh, it's a good question. Oh, geez. You know, I went through some hard times, as you know, over a bit over 12 months ago, now 18 months ago. But probably the moment that, you know, it was at the end of my addiction, you know, when it was the last night that I overused anything, and I was in a hotel room on my own because I just didn't want to be home. And, you know, it was probably about 3, 4, 5, I think it was about 5 o'clock in the morning, sorry. And, you know, I'd had a bath and a shower because I was sort of coming down from using. And I remember just walking past the mirror and just looking at myself and just staring at myself, and didn't know who the hell was looking back at me. I couldn't recognize it. It was one of the scariest moments in my life. You know, you hear about these things, but until it happens to you, I don't think you can appreciate what it actually feels like. And,
Yes.
And it broke me. I broke down, and I knew I'd had enough, and I didn't want to be that person anymore. And that's the moment I decided things were going to change for me. You know, whatever the cost may be. If it cost me my life and it cost me my family, well, then so be it. But I needed to be something that I needed to be. And
Yeah.
that person that was looking back at me in the mirror wasn't that person. So, you know, that changed everything for me. And the very next day, or that later that day, was the day I decided to book myself into a rehab, and the following day I was in there. And yeah, it changed everything for me.
So the perspective changed into, before you mentioned that you were a hard worker.
Yeah.
You know, you were raised that way. Because a lot of the times we think we're making money, so that's all it is. We got a family, so I've ticked the box, you know.
Yeah,
I've got a nice car or a nice house. Like you kind of simplify life a lot, and then you were finding yourself that you were able to even pay for an addiction. Like, was it? I know that you're saying you looked at the mirror, but was it noticeable for others?
I think so, right? I think people could see that I wasn't right. I used to have a lot of people, you know, come up to me, whether they were friends of mine, employees, or even once, you know, a random guy at the golf club where I play every weekend, you know, even walked up to me and said, "Hey man, you all right?" And, you know, as you do during that time, you go, yeah, I'm good, I'm fine, you know. I'm fine is, you know, I put a video out the other day, you know, it's probably the most dangerous words you could say to yourself, you know. But I think, yeah, definitely was noticeable for people, and you're 100% right. You know, on the outside, people see the success, or their version of success, having the family, the car, the business, the money, and that's not really what success is about. They're all the material things.
Yes,
you know?
of course.
And it took me a while to realise that, you know, that you need to be happy. You need to be happy, and I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy at all.
So you definitely saw that happiness wasn't what you were living at the moment.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
So that only happened like 12, 18 months ago, you said?
19th of March last year,
Wow,
2024.
you got it clear. Yeah, that's
19th of
good.
March.
Clarity always helps.
19th
Yeah.
of March, mate, yeah.
So, what's a lesson that you've had that you had to learn the hard way, but you wouldn't trade it? Like you wouldn't actually change the way it happened.
Look, I mean, I think we all know drugs are no good for you, right?
Yeah.
And even while I was doing it, I knew that it could kill me. And it got to the point where I thought about suicide plenty of times.
That's strong.
a lot,
Yes.
a lot. And it was scary. They were scary thoughts because I just didn't know how to get out of the hole that I was in. Not a financial hole, but just a mental hole. You know, I was hurting myself, hurting my wife, my kids, not physically. I would never do that.
Yeah.
But hurting people around me. And it was a hard lesson to learn, but the only thing that stopped me was just the thought of my kids and my wife being on their own. You know, I didn't want them to be on their own. And even though I knew that I had to go and heal myself no matter the cost, even if it meant losing my wife and my kids, it would still allow me to be a better father to my kids regardless later on, even if, you know, my wife did decide to leave me. You know, there were moments, you know, where my wife had sort of found out what I was doing, and you know, she obviously is hurt by the stuff I was doing, and, you know, said, I want you on the couch, I want you out of the house, I've had enough, right? And most people will go, oh, that should be enough for you to turn things around. But it wasn't, because at that point in time, I didn't care. I didn't care. In my head, I'm thinking, cool, forget a divorce, I can go to the hotel room, I can go and do what I want to do without having to worry about anything else.
So many silly things we
just
think.
you know, the silly things that come through your head, because I wasn't ready to change at that time, and the addiction kept going on for longer after that. And so, I mean, at the end of the day, the biggest lesson is that you can only change when you really want to, when you're ready to. You know, I think we all know when we need to change. Everyone knows that moment, I need to change things.
Yeah.
But wanting to do it and being ready to do it are two different things, man. And I realized that when I tried to do rehab the first time.
So you felt like you needed to be on your own, like left on your own completely, in order to understand that
Yeah.
if you don't make that change, no one is gonna make it for you, and all it's gonna start happening is you're gonna lose and miss out on things.
Yeah.
And up to a point, you thought, I may even. So you were maybe a bit like so lost that you didn't even consider how important it was to lose wife, kids, family, everything you had built for so long.
Yep.
That you said, okay, and then you found yourself lost completely. No one there to kind of push you one way or the other, and you say, oh, it's me, or this is not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So you hit
exactly
rock
right.
bottom. Wow, that's
rock
so
bottom.
strong.
Yeah. And rock bottom for everybody is different, right? There are
Yeah.
many people that have gone through addiction in very different ways. You know, your previous guest, Han, you know, he had multiple addictions to multiple drugs.
Yes,
right?
yes. Story.
And he was involved in a lot of other things. You know, addiction is different for everybody, right?
Yes.
It doesn't always have to be in that aspect. But yeah.
Yeah, there is gambling. You know, there is so many things that are hidden. Sometimes it's one of those things that we just don't consider very hurtful or painful. You know.
Well, one of the most crazy addictions I'd heard of, I'd never thought this could exist, right? But you consider going to the gym as a healthy thing, right?
Yeah.
You're going there to look after yourself. One of the guys that was actually helping me in my rehab, who was my personal trainer in the rehab, and this was the thing about the rehab, is everybody that worked there and was healing you had all had lived experience with addiction, right? So they understood what you're going through. And this particular personal trainer, his addiction was the gym. Right?
Yeah, no,
He would go to the gym 8 hours a day. He'd spend the whole day in the gym.
Refuge. It becomes a refuge.
Yeah, I never thought it blew me away. I was like, what?
Yeah.
So,
Well, I haven't gone through that. Not that addiction. I could use a little of that, but I enjoy the gym and exercise. But it is true. You see some. Really, addiction is anything that you stop being yourself to do that one, and you don't even know why.
Yeah.
But you have to do it.
You just have to do
it's
it.
a matter of, if you don't do it, you start feeling all these
something's missing.
different emotions,
Yeah.
and it's not right. You
No,
shouldn't
that's
be
right.
needing things like that. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what would be a highlight that people see, but they don't actually see a struggle in Tino's life?
Something that a highlight that something people would see as a struggle.
So the highlight, if I was to look at Tino and I see a highlight, you've got maybe a nice car or a mansion or a family, or at this stage, but the struggle, they don't see the struggle. So
now or before?
At any time. That's one highlight you think people would look at you and they've probably said, oh, but you got such a good life.
Yeah.
But you've had struggles to get there.
Man, look, it is probably in terms of the success of our business, right? We'd seem to have it all. Dad's got the nice cars, I've got the nice cars, my sisters, my family, everyone's doing well. I've got 5 beautiful kids, great wife, beautiful wife, and people don't know a lot of the things that my father and I had to go through in the background to get there.
Yeah.
Right. And even still now, there's still plenty of struggles, especially around the construction industry. But, there are things that I probably can't share in this interview.
Of course.
That Dad and I had to endure, and tough things I never thought I'd have to go through or experience. And, it had a toll not only on me and my father, but it affected family around us. We've had our lives threatened plenty of times. And one thing that, I always grew up being taught from my grandfather and my dad is to, always do the right thing.
Yeah.
And, we always try to do the right thing.
Of course.
I mean, sometimes you think it might be the right thing, maybe it's not, but you don't learn that lesson sometimes till later. But there are many struggles in behind the scenes that Dad and I had to go through that probably not appropriate for the interview, but I would like to share them. But because I think it'll help people understand that there are some very significant
So
events.
when you were at those struggles, there is really no need to share the specifics, but what was the mindset shift that you needed to help, move forward into your journey?
Well, I mean, those particular events that happened, and there's a lot of fear at the time, but you learn ways in which you can maybe do things differently, so those things don't happen again.
Yeah.
Like it's a little bit hard to explain that in more detail without giving the specifics of those events, but I think everything that happens to us, significant or not significant, well, in reality, they can probably all be significant if you can take a lesson out of it.
Yeah.
I don't think they have to be, a major event for you to learn something from it.
Of course.
As long as you learn something from it, I think it becomes a significant event.
Yeah, no, everything is significant.
Yeah.
It's more a matter of if you let it take you down. You know?
Yeah.
So everything will play a part one way or the other in our lives. So how does Tino deal with self-doubt and fear? Because obviously you've mentioned that there has been some fears, generally, like maybe more in your mind.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've always had a lack of courage to share things openly.
Okay.
Which, probably seems unusual given that I've just shared my story on social media, not just here, but also, I did a sort of 15-part series on my social medias to open up and share my story with people. That took a lot of courage because I always had this fear of being judged. But one thing that I learned from it all, and besides the work that we did with Luke Hawkins, being able to help me push that barrier, is that the people that were closest to me, my family, my close friends, they already knew my story.
Yeah.
And I said, they're the ones I always probably feared judgment from most.
It's always that way.
Right?
It's funny.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, well, hang on a second. They already know my story.
Yeah.
They can't judge me any more than they
already know more than what I could, and have different perspectives
that's
and
right.
everything.
And they probably know more than what I've shared on social media, right? But I kind of said, well, if they still love me, what do I have to fear about being judged by other people?
And even if they don't, it is.
And if they don't, at the end of the day, that's my story. And I needed to share my story in order for people to understand that they're not the only people going through what they're going through. Because there's so many people going through same or similar experiences to what I'm going through. I know for a fact because I used to be around a lot of these people all the time. But I needed to share that I needed to be vulnerable to people so they can understand that there's nothing wrong with being vulnerable. Right, and being vulnerable is a key to change.
So would you say you have self-doubt? Intrusive thoughts?
I do. I mean, I always carry self-doubt, probably with anything I do. But I think it's probably becomes a driver for me.
Yeah, exactly. So
right?
that's
because
a driver.
I had doubt that maybe, I'm not a good coach.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not offering enough to my clients. Maybe I can be better. I don't know. Can I really do this? I have those thoughts all the time. But I used to have those thoughts with my career before.
Whenever we do something, they intrusive thoughts. They come in.
Yeah.
And they do. But so we do have to take action. That's one thing we gotta do. That's so good to know. So, is there anything you do daily on a daily routine that you would say, okay, I'm gonna get ready this morning, maybe listen to a good song? Is there any habits or rituals that you have?
Look, to an extent, one thing I come to realize is that you don't need to have the perfect routine every morning. I tried that and it's hard. It is very difficult to maintain, very regimented routine, right? So kind of realize you just need to be comfortable with what you're doing. You don't have to go to the gym every single morning. You don't have to journal every morning. You don't have to meditate every morning. You don't have to read every morning. You don't have to do those things every single day, right? You do what comes comfortable to you and what feels good to you, what makes you want to get up and go in the morning, right? For me, my wife and kids, I'll see them every morning. Sometimes I've got to leave the house before they're awake, but still give them a kiss. But I love them to death, But for me, one thing that I really love doing every time I jump in the car is pumping some good music, man. I love it. I love music.
What music do you like?
I like all kinds of music.
All kinds?
My friends get in my car sometimes and they're going, what the hell is this, man? Right? Sometimes it might be country, sometimes it might be dance, it could be rock, house music. I like all kinds of music.
Romantic.
I like it all, man. I like it all. I don't discriminate. For me, as long as the song's good, it's good.
It's important. I love all types of music too.
And it depends what mood you're into, right?
Yes. Sometimes on the day, with weather shifting, sometimes you feel like you want to hear some techno.
Yeah.
I personally love salsa, so sometimes when it's all tropical, I gotta listen a bit of salsa.
100%.
It's very good. So what would be a failure that you thought it would break you at one time, but it didn't, and it ended up shaping you?
I thought the rehab, to be honest, was
gonna break you.
I thought it was gonna break me, man. I thought, the moment I realised it was going to happen, when I had to ring my wife, my father, and tell them.
Give the news. So they didn't know about the addiction. They had an idea, but...
I think my father, no. My wife, yeah. I mean, she knew something was up for a long time, and I could tell because of the way she would look at me, you know, and she would look at me a certain way, and I'd go, what's wrong, right? But it was like she was staring at me like, I know you're up to something, I just can't prove it. Right?
Of course.
And
yes.
and it used to scare me, right? It used to scare me because I'm like, I can't let her find out. And this is the thing, is become very resourceful as addicts, right? We get better at hiding it.
Yeah,
And
very good.
It's scary to think some of the things that I've done to hide it. But that moment when, you know, I picked up the phone to call my dad to tell him that I was not coming to work for 6 weeks because I was going to rehab, it broke me, right? It really did. I was bawling my eyes out like I was a little kid again. And I felt like I'd let him down. You know, I knew I'd let my wife down. I knew I'd let my kids down. But I always had this thing, you know, always searching for dad's approval, right? And I think, you know, us as men, we always try and search for that approval.
Yeah,
from
it's
our
very
dad,
natural.
right? It's very natural. And there's always been a lot of expectation on my shoulders, not so much from my family, but from everybody around me, right? I was always the one to hold everyone up, right? I was the one everybody came to when they needed help. Whether it was in life they needed help or whether it was in work they needed help, they always came to me. And so I felt like I was not only letting him down, I was letting everybody down, right? And but I knew I had to do it. I knew I had to do it no matter the cost.
Big weight, but it was good.
I mean, financially it cost me a lot for rehab. It wasn't a clinical rehab, it was a very private facility. It cost $90,000 to go there for the 4 weeks.
But it was worth it. You're worth
Every
it.
cent,
You know?
every cent, you know, and I didn't know what was going to come out for me on the other side. I didn't know if I was going to be married. Didn't know if my family were going to talk to me. I didn't know anything.
Wow.
But I just knew I had to do it for me, right? No matter the cost. And best thing, it shaped me, and I found my purpose in there, man. I'll never
so
forget
good.
that night.
That's so good. It's so good, man.
Yeah.
So would you say that in there was a limiting belief or any other thing that you can think of? It's a limiting belief that you had to let go in order to grow?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, I still had this fear of being judged even by the people there, right?
Yeah.
Although I was the only client they had in the place, and I had a team of people.
So you were even worried about how the rehab was judging you?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. I mean, as time goes on, you realise that you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yes, we have a need.
Yeah.
This is one of the things I learned. Like, I love everything we've learned, and it's amazing how we keep learning. But the needs, you know, the certainty, and then you've got uncertainty. So it's not like, oh, okay, I've got one, and then I don't need the other one. You need both.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you will never feel at peace.
yeah, 100% right, man. 100%.
Wow.
Right.
So you had to let go of
I had to let go of everything, man. I had to be naked.
naked
You know,
completely.
not physically naked, but mentally I just had to be naked. I just had to let go. And that's something that was hard for me because I used to like control. And I didn't control on purpose. I had control because I feared that people would make a mistake. So I had to be in control of everything.
Just in control, just because? So not even because you needed to. You just like to be in control.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But you know, when you go to places like that, the only way to heal is to be completely vulnerable, be completely naked and let go, which is an extremely hard thing to do. Very extremely hard. It's easier said than done.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I could. Well, I haven't gone through something like that, but I could probably imagine. I've known some people that have gone through a few things, and they always, unfortunately, they don't find their purpose. I think we need. It's not just the rehab; it's a part where maybe you get clean and you get a feel of normal life again, but you need a purpose.
Yeah.
If you don't find that purpose, if you don't find, there is more.
Well, I think this is the thing: is a lot of people think that they've got to find their purpose right now, right? They think if I haven't found it now, then I'm never going to find it, and then it puts that self-doubt and probably more negative self-doubt and makes them spiral even worse, right?
Yes.
But you just need to be patient, right? The moment I found my purpose, okay, it just happened to be while I was in rehab, okay? Cliche maybe, I don't know. But I found that purpose. I was having dinner there with my meditation coach, and I still talk to him. He and I are very close. We speak every day just about. He's an older man and a very wise man, and he has an incredible story as well, which, maybe you can get him to come
Of
and
course,
see
we
you,
can
right?
get him over it. We love
Because
love good stories.
He does have a great story, and he's actually in the process of sharing his story on social media now in more depth. And we just got talking one night over dinner. It was dark. We're sitting at the back eating a steak that I had cooked very nicely, by the way. And it just came to me, and I said, John, his name's John. I said, John, I think I found my purpose. And he was like, wow, right? And I said, and he goes, what's your purpose? And I said, my purpose is to help people, man. I realized I've been helping people my whole life.
Different,
in different ways. I was helping people start their lives with a new home, building a home. And, but not only just that, very similar to what Luke used to say, is people used to just come up to him and ask for advice. I had that happen almost every day. I used to have people come up to me and ask for advice on things that are going on at home. People felt comfortable opening up to me. And I always used to say, talking to my friends jokingly, I'd say, sometimes I feel like I'm a counsellor.
Right. Unpaid counsellor.
and I didn't mean it in a bad way, right? I said I found it unusual that people just open up to me like that, and who would have thought I'd end up being a coach now?
That's so good.
And people open up, and I appreciate that, and they need to open up in order to feel free,
And you've got a story to tell, and people, I think they identify themselves. You could help, especially since I'll let you share what you focus on in a moment,
Sure.
but that you're able to help in so many ways because you have a successful business, or you've had a successful career, you've got wife and kids, you've got a family, you've gone through all these struggles that they haven't broken you, even though you thought they might. So you could tell people, look, on the other side, there is another side.
There's hope, man.
There is hope. All you got to do is keep going at it, believing in yourself, and you can't stop taking action. I think.
No, you can't. I mean, even now, when I first came out of rehab, I was still a little bit fearful that, maybe I would end up using again at some point. Right? I still had that fear. You have a couple of drinks with your mates and that thought pops into your head. Even now, 18 months later, it still pops into my head occasionally.
Yeah.
Right? But you just have to be consistent. You got to be consistent and just, you can't let it beat you, right? And eventually it does fizzle away. It becomes less and less and less.
Powerful, yeah.
And less, yeah. So, yeah, you got to, there is hope on the other side of change.
That's so good. So what's something that has surprised you lately that you would say, oh, I didn't think I could do this and I'm doing it?
This very thing. I mean, not so much the interview, not the interview as such, but more the coaching, right? I didn't think I'd be able to do it. I was sort of fearful of it, but I knew I had to do it. I tried counselling. Wasn't for me. Too clinical, right? I'm not a clinical very person, right? I like talking to people like we're having a drink at the pub,
Yeah.
and just talking as mates. That's how I communicate with people. And as a coach, also the thing is with being so clinical as a counsellor, there's certain very strict procedures you need to follow doing it, and you can't sometimes tell people what they need to hear. Whereas as a coach, sometimes I think, as a coach, you can do that, right? You can tell people things straight without having to beat around the bush. Because for me, one thing I learned is from the coaches I've had help me is they sometimes just need to hit you between the eyes with it.
Yes, I agree.
So, being a coach, it's fulfilling for me, right? It's good. I didn't think I could do it. I had a lot of self-doubt around it, but the more I pushed, the more I taught myself, the more I learned from others. I'm still close with some people that helped me in the rehab, some of the people that work there to help essentially mentor me in a sense. Plus the learnings we've had with Luke and that we're still doing with Luke. It's been great. It's given me more confidence to be able to do it.
So what do you think, what does Tino define as success now, and has that changed over time?
Yeah, I mean, I used to think like most people, success is the nice car, the home, the family, right? But I heard words years ago at a function, and he got asked a similar question, what is success to you? And I'll never forget it because I thought it was amazing, right? And he said, success isn't a destination, it's progression. And it sat on me for a long time going, that is so right. As long as you're continually improving yourself and improving people around you, I think that's success.
That's success. That's so good.
If I can improve you, the cameraman, person walking down the street in one little way, I think that's success.
Yes, it is so true. I think success comes in many ways, and sometimes we focus on the end.
Yeah, the material things.
Yeah, the destination.
Yeah.
But then we get there, and so what's happening? I got all this rest of life, and it doesn't meet other stuff.
Well, those material things, the money and all that, that's just all energy that you get back from doing what you do, right?
Yes.
Luke says it in a very similar way. He says it probably better, but it's 100% right. If you just focus on what you love and what you enjoy, what you do, focus on being a good person, I think that's success, man, because the other stuff will come with it. Money comes and goes, right? You can spend money as quick as you can make it, okay? But I think if you can improve someone's life in one little bit, I think you're successful in some form.
And you see some people that, if we speak about material things, they choose not to buy the nice car. I've seen people that are millionaires and they still drive a very crappy car, or they live somewhere that they just feel at home. They don't need necessarily all those. I think I call it sometimes, even though it's nice to have, it's a lot of baggage as well, because you gotta be caring and worrying about all this other stuff at home. If you got the huge mansion, it has to be nice, because if people come in and then it's not clean, so all this stuff, and you throw a party, then it has to be their party, And what about ourselves inside? Are we comfortable? Are we happy?
100%, man.
So
100%.
With that, what do you think people get wrong in terms of success and happiness?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
They're meant to be good,
Well, I think it goes back to what we said. I think a lot of people define success as how much money they got in the bank. I think while it's good to have monetary goals, right? Because at the end of the day, we need money to survive, right? We've got to pay bills, we've got to pay school fees, got to pay for food, got to pay for the car, got to pay for fuel, got to pay for all of that, right? It doesn't just come out of thin air, right?
Of course.
So you have to have some sort of monetary goals, which is great. But I think there are so many people out there that are only driven by money. They're only driven by how much money they can put in their bank account. So I think that's a mistake. Personally,
I agree.
I think it's a mistake. I think if you really focus on doing something you love, that'll come anyway. It'll come naturally. Okay, and if it doesn't, well, so be it.
Well, we use money to buy happiness.
Yeah.
We use money to have experiences, memories. And so if we're having the memories and happiness without having to earn or spend so much money, I think you're already wealthy.
If you've got a roof over your head, man, you've got good people around you.
Yes.
I think that's happiness, right? And sadly there are a lot of people out there that don't have roofs over their head.
Yes.
You know, so that's a shame, and I wish that could change for a lot of people. But there are struggles out there, and it's not easy. It's not easy, you know. So yeah, but I think if we change our perspective on money, then people will see the success.
Yes, I agree. I agree completely, Tino. So if you were to lose everything tomorrow, what do you think are the qualities, or what would Tino do to gain everything back? Now that you've got this different mentality.
I'm not going to lose everything. I'm not going to
That's
lose
so
everything.
good. Why not?
And I know that maybe it doesn't answer your question, but I'm too driven to do that.
Yeah.
Right? I'm driven to help people. So, I mean, if at the end of the day, if I lost everything, I'd still help people. Right? It's what I'm meant to do, and that's what I've got to do. Also, I'll still find a way. How? I don't know. But
Yeah.
I think that my purpose is enough for me to keep moving forward if I was to lose everything, but I'm not going to lose everything because I won't allow that to happen.
But I actually love the answer, because I don't know if this is what you meant, but we actually don't. What's losing everything? What does that
Yeah,
mean?
I mean, does that lose your house, your car, your family?
Yeah.
You know,
You can't
100%.
lose as long as we're healthy. You
Well,
know,
like I said to you before, you know, I went in rehab expecting nothing when I got out.
that's
Right? I went in there expecting that I probably need to go find somewhere to live, that I won't have a wife, I won't have kids, I won't have family, right? But
So you kind of felt like you were gonna lose everything,
I thought I was going to lose everything, man.
and nothing happened.
Nothing happened. I gained everything.
You gained
I
everything.
gained everything.
Sometimes you gotta lose in order to gain. That's very good.
I actually gained more than I've ever gained in my life. Ever. Yeah.
That's so good. So what's one practice someone that is listening could start doing from today, and they will see a change in their lives? We're asking Tino as a coach now.
That's tough because for everybody, I think it's different. But I think don't get so hung up on the now, right? Don't be fearful of what's happening right now. I think you need to be focused on what can be. You know, just let go a little bit, because I think all of us in some way like to have control of something, and it's probably that something that's holding us back from growing. So I think if you need to grow or want to grow, you need to just let go a little bit. Let go of that little bit of control, right? You don't need to. And when you take your hands off the steering wheel, you'll be surprised what direction you'll go. And I mean, some people look at that and laugh, listen to that and laugh and say, oh, you're gonna end up in a wall, you know. But you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised that how many people will actually put their hands on the steering wheel and help steer you.
To open up and help, receive help.
Just receive help, man. There's nothing wrong with receiving. A lot of people like to give. I was that person, right? I was a big people pleaser. I would try and give everything to everybody around me if it meant I had nothing, right? And I got that quality from my father. My father still does that to this day, right? If he hasn't got a shirt on, he'll find a shirt to give you, right? He'll put one together. He'll do something to give it to you, right? That's the type of person he is. Is he perfect? No, he's not perfect. I mean, I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. None of us are perfect. But so I was always grown up just to give, and doing the right thing is what I was always taught. But I thought by doing the right thing, you need to keep giving, right? And there's nothing wrong with giving. Giving is good. Giving is good. But also you need to allow yourself to receive.
Yeah,
have
we
to
need
allow
both.
yourself to
We need
receive.
both.
You
It
have
needs to go both ways.
Yeah, and that's one thing I couldn't do, is I couldn't receive. I felt bad if I received.
Yes.
You know, even now I still feel bad.
Yeah, you feel a bit
with
funny.
certain things, right? You know, I lent a friend $50 because he had to pay for something. He didn't have the cash on him. I had the cash. I gave him $50. I'm like, here, man. And the other day he's giving me the $50 back. I'm like, man, I don't want the $50. Like, I don't need it. And he's like, no, please just take it. I go, but I don't want it. Like, I'm just helping you out, man. It's not a problem. He goes, take the bloody money, right?
Yeah.
And so we still fought over receiving $50, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, once you allow yourself to receive, it's a good feeling. Receive help, just allow it. Just allow things to happen.
That's so good.
you know?
That's so good. So it's definitely something I think we sometimes forget, and it's so easy to do, but for some reason we kind of push it and self-sabotage.
I think we feel bad for taking.
Yeah.
We don't see it as receiving, we see it as taking.
Yes, sometimes it does. It does happen. It does happen.
Yeah.
So, Tino, what would the Tino of now say to a younger Tino? What's a piece of advice you would say if you got Tino right in front of you, the young one? What would you say to that Tino?
I mean, I think I'd want to say, just do what you want to do. But at the same time, following the path that was put in front of me has got me here,
Yeah.
right? I think just need to allow things just to happen, right? There's certain events from my past, traumatic events that have happened that have, stopped me from being somewhere, right?
Yeah.
I always thought that being a builder was what I had to do. People used to ask me, what would you do if you weren't building? I don't know. The answer I used to give, I don't know, because I don't know anything else, right? And I'm not saying that my father didn't give me a choice, okay? Maybe he did. Maybe I missed that opportunity, right? Maybe the choices I wanted to make, maybe silly. I don't know, right? Okay, but I don't think I'd need to give advice to my younger self, man. I think just play life, man. Just do life.
Just
right?
do life.
Just do life, man. Like everything that has happened to us, past and present, has got us to here. Yeah.
Yeah.
If we were to go give advice to our younger self, where would that person be now? You're changing the future. You don't know where that's going to be. So I don't know if I want to tell my younger self anything, because the younger self got me here.
Yeah. That's good.
It was painful along the way, don't get
Yeah,
me wrong. A lot of pain
yeah,
along
yeah.
the way, but sometimes we've got to endure pain.
Well, I agree. Sometimes we gotta value what we have and who we are,
Yeah.
and so it's very important to do that and understand that it's not to dwell in the past, but to move forward and appreciate, because as you said, all the learning and everything that happened was because of a reason,
Well, this is the thing, right? I think if we wanted to go back and tell ourselves, our younger self, some advice, it would mean that you have regret. And I don't have regret.
Oh, that's very
I
good.
don't have regret, man, because I like the path that I'm on. I mean, that's me. Other people might be different. Okay?
Yeah,
Other people
yeah.
might be living a harder life or have certain issues in their life that they wish never happened, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, I've got some events in my life that I wish never happened. But again, if that didn't happen, would I be here today?
Yeah, well,
Right? Probably not.
yeah, we will never know.
We'll never know. We'll never know. So I think the best advice you can give is no advice. Just let it happen.
That's good. That's good. So, what is there a book or a mentor or something that you would recommend our audience to maybe take a look?
There was a book that I read from John Rohn. Jim Rohn. Oh my God! I just
Very
had a blank.
good. He's very good.
Yeah,
like that.
Jim Rohn, right?
Yes.
I just had a blank for a second. I don't know why. And it was called Leading an Inspired Life, and a very easy read, but really inspiring read. There's a lot of lessons that can be learnt in that book. It was a really good book.
Jim Rohn is amazing.
Jim
I
Rohn
love,
is-
and the way he
is
talks
incredible.
and everything.
Yeah.
His voice, his pitch, everything.
It's 100%. It's inspiring. A lot of the stuff he says is inspiring, and I think I'm pretty sure he taught Tony Robbins. I
Yeah.
think Tony Robbins learned a lot from him, and yeah.
So, what do you think people avoid the most facing? That like they avoid facing that holds them from their growth.
Themselves.
Yeah. What do themselves?
Themselves. They fear themselves.
They don't want to face the truth.
They don't want to face the truth. They don't want to. I didn't want to. I mean, it's scary. It's scary when you really start digging deep to find out who you are. it's scary because I think you live your whole life thinking you know who you are. But when you start growing, you start realizing that you probably didn't know who you are.
Yes.
And it's scary. It's a scary thought because everything you thought about yourself can change. Well, it does change. It does change.
That's very good. Yeah. So that facing ourselves does require a lot of vulnerability.
Yeah,
It
a lot,
does.
a lot. And that was the biggest lesson I learned going through rehab. And it was a word that was brought up over and over again, is about being vulnerable.
Yeah, opening up is
you have
it's
to.
very hard.
It is. It's very hard. And you're opening up to strangers, opening up to people around you, it's hard. But being vulnerable is probably one of the biggest keys, or the key to change and to transform and grow.
Yes, true. It's so true. So what's up something that you're still working on today on yourself, Tino?
Man, I'm all the way in, or as we used to say, balls deep in coaching. And I just want to continue my growth as a coach. I want to be the best coach I can possibly be. I want to be the best help I can possibly be to anybody. And so for me, that's just continually growing and learning everything I can, as much as I can, about being a coach.
Yeah.
It's what I love. It's my passion. It's my purpose. So I got to do it.
It's so good. Yeah, I can see the passion that you've got for this and that you're all in order to help people and to show them that there is hope and there is a way out and that there is ways that we can, because I don't think there is a specific 100% of perfection. It's understanding the imperfection and feeling okay with certain things at certain times that will allow us to live a truly freely life, you know?
Yeah. Well, it goes back to, the definition of success for me is progression, right?
Yeah.
If you keep progressing and learning, then I think you're going to do well. I think you're going to do well. And I think that's with anything. If you find a passion, do it, learn it. Find out everything you can about it. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think the more you do that, the more you're going to be able to serve your community. And community doesn't mean your local community. Community means everybody around you, right? I think even if it's as simple as making a remote control car, right? If you like remote control cars, find out everything you can about remote control cars, build a remote control car, because that remote control car is going to make somebody happy. It's going to make some kid happy that's going to
And
play
old
with
men too. We love cars, remote.
Right, we love remote control cars.
We love technology.
Right, we love technology. So that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter how petty it may seem.
Yes.
In some way, it will help somebody or make somebody happy.
Yes, I agree. What do you want people to remember you by, Tino?
Oh, man, I don't care if I'm remembered or not.
Okay.
Okay, I know that might seem silly, right? Obviously, I hope my family remembers me. Okay,
Well, someone will remember you, but
I'm not out there to go and be the next Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, hey, if it ends up there, then fantastic, great. I've done something great, but I'm not fussed if I'm remembered or not. If I know when I die that I've done everything I can to help somebody, that's enough for me, man. I don't need to have a lasting legacy.
yeah, but maybe, as you said, you want to be remembered by someone that
Somebody that helped.
helped.
Yeah, I'm not saying I don't want to be remembered, but I don't have, my drive is not to be remembered.
Yeah, no, maybe not
Yeah.
as, a celebrity, but
No.
as a person that was there for people.
Someone that was caring, because I think I've always been a pretty caring person, or very caring person, probably too caring of others and not caring of myself. But yeah, I mean, if I'm remembered as someone that's caring, that's enough for me, man. I just want my wife and kids happy to remember me as a good father and husband.
That's very important.
Yeah.
That's so good. So tell the audience a message. What would you want to say to the audience out there? Anything you want to share?
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You know, there are many people that are going to probably watch this that I know are struggling, you know, in some way, shape or form. They'll be struggling. And there's nothing wrong with asking for help. You know, there's nothing wrong with asking for help. And that's the whole reason I coach, is because I didn't know who to ask help from. You know, I could go to my friend and say, hey man, I'm struggling. We can have a conversation, which is great, right? That'll release a little bit of anger that might be sitting within me at the time, but it's not lasting, yeah? So I think the biggest piece of advice I can say is if you're hurting, if you're struggling, don't be afraid to ask for help. You know, there is so much help out there. It's a phone call, it's a text message, it's an email, it's just walking past somebody, right? There is help all around. All you got to do is ask for it.
And people are willing to, like you.
People are willing to help, man.
Like you, I think when I met you, obviously you seem like a strong individual. Sometimes us men, especially coming from the construction industry, you look a bit tough, you know, like unopen to a lot of things. And then we look at you, we hear you, and we see that, hey, look, I all I do is understand. Everything I've lived through, I get it. And not only that, but it's shaped me into wanting to be a coach or someone that helps people.
Yeah.
That's so good, Tino. Thank you so much for coming. It was an amazing, you know, some time here with you in the interview. And I hope that you do great things. I know you will, you know, and I'm so grateful to be a friend, you know, and we keep in touch. Yeah. Obviously we both do coaching. So tell us, just to finish it up, and people know, what's your, I know you can do a lot of different branches in coaching, but what's your
for me,
focus?
My focus is for people that are going through burnout, stress, addiction, you know, emotional traumas. You know, there's a lot of people going through it in the business world, in any world, right? It's everywhere. You don't have to be someone in a corporate business that's, you know, stressed out or burnt out. There are a lot of small business owners that are burnt out, right? You don't have to be a business owner to be burnt out, but there are so many people that are burnt out, that are stressed, and they just don't know how to get it together, right? And I've been there, as you know, and as I've shared, I've been there, I've been burnt out, I've been stressed, I've been addicted, I've had plenty of emotional traumas, and I think that almost every one of us have been through one of those four things, if not all four, and that's the people I want to help, man. And like you said, you know, with a lot of the tools that we've got as coaches that we've learned, those tools can help anybody, right? It doesn't even have to be focused at those particular people that I've said. So yeah.
Well, there you have it, people. We had Tino today. It was a great interview, and if you need any help in anything that he mentioned, we'll put a link on our video so you can get in touch with him. He's a great individual, very strong, very driven. So as he said, he's never gonna let you lose everything. You know, he's very strong-minded. There is Tino. I hope you enjoy the show.
Thank you. Thank you. It was good.
It was good.